Hello, everyone, and welcome to my very first podcast. My name is Allie. I'm also known as Sugaring Yarn over on Instagram. Welcome to my first YouTube video. I decided that one of my goals this year is to vlog and document my crafting process a lot more than I have the last couple years. And I feel like I'm at the point now in my crafting, I don't want to call it career, but crafting life experience. I don't know what to call it. Crafting time. I'm ready to I feel more confident talking about the things that I want to talk about, sharing the things that I want to do, this and that. And I have Instagram, and so I do update a little bit there, but I think being able to sit down and like physically talk and not have to worry about the more, I don't want to say technical, because this is also more technical too with the way I have to do, fix the videos. But anyway, I'm blabbing about nothing. But anyway, I want to start vlogging and documenting my crafting journey here on YouTube, and I have decided to start making podcasts. I really love watching knitting podcasts, both while I'm crafting and while I'm not crafting, for inspiration, for recommendations, for other things and I feel like YouTube knitting podcasts can be a little bit less overwhelming, a little bit less, I don't want to say viral, because I definitely think YouTube has its viral moments. I mean, it has an algorithm and things, but I think, especially on Instagram, where I primarily am, everything is kind of about the now, the what's popular now, what's popular this and that, and like the urge to create what everyone else is creating. Whereas I feel on YouTube, it's, to me, in the spaces that I like to go in, it's much more of sharing what you are making regardless of what is popular on social media. So that is why I think I really want to try to get into more vlogs and things like that here on YouTube. And I also really just love longer form content. I find it a lot easier than trying to take pictures and style things, and it might sound like ridiculous because it's like 10 times more work, but yeah. So for my very first podcast, I want to talk about my winter knitting plans. I had planned to do kind of what I made in 2024 video, kind of recap thing, but I really want to start this year off as like this year, the beginning of this year, and focusing on documenting what I'm doing in 2025 rather than 2024. And I thought this video would be a really good first video here on my channel. I don't know how frequently I will upload. I would like to upload at least a couple times a month, ideally weekly if possible, but life is difficult, and so we'll see how that goes. But for my very first video, I want to talk about what I want to make this winter / early spring. And I do have one finished object that I will technically say 2025, even though I finished it in 2024, and then a project that I recently cast on after Christmas, which I will count as a 2025 project. So I guess we will start with my first finished object before we get into what I want to make. So my very first finished object is the Darling Cardigan by Kutova Kika. Well, I'll hold it up. I literally just finished yesterday. I sewed the buttons on. I got up at like 6 o'clock naturally, but anyway, I got up and the first thing I did was sew on the buttons because it had been done blocking, and I was so excited. And this is actually a gift from my roommate, so it's really special to me to make something for her. So let me put my mic down. So this is what it looks like. It is this beautiful kind of just standard beige tan kind of situation. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I use Drops Air in, I'm not sure what color. I can go get the yarn. I should have brought it over to begin with. Let me go grab it. Okay, this is the yarn that I'm using. It is Drops Air, and it is color 55, which I think is just I'm pretty sure it's called beige. I'll have to look online, but it's a unicolor. It's my very first time working with drops yarn, and I love it. The whole time I was making the cardigan, I was talking about how jealous I am because I want my own because I really love the yarn. And it just, it really is like air. And while I would say this probably isn't a winter cardigan, it's definitely a like more springy, but you could definitely layer this with the jacket on top. It's not a thick cardigan, it's not a heavy cardigan, but it does have a really nice fabric. It's like definitely a little airy, but it's not like, it's not oversized. The stitches are not done on a bigger needle or anything like that. It's just, the yarn is just airy and fluffy, and it makes this really lovely light drapey fabric. This sweater is knit from the top down, and you work the back with some short rows, and then you connect in the front and then connect the body after you're done, increasing for both the sleeves and then the like neckband that goes inwards. And then you pretty much work until desired length. I did what was recommended in the pattern for a size small. My roommate is quite a couple inches shorter than me. She's only 5'1", 5'2", and I am 5'6", so I knit the recommended and kind of had her try it on throughout, and I felt like that was a perfect size for her. She likes the fit and everything. I would personally have it longer if I were to make myself another one because I like my cardigans longer, but for her it works out. It is what was recommended, and I think it looks really good. And then at the end it's 2x2 ribbing, and then also 2x2 ribbing on the sleeves as well. And then the last thing to finish it off is the double knit button band. I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but I have a love-hate relationship with the double knitted button band. It looks really good. I really like the look of it once it's done, but physically making the double knit button band is quite a challenge for me. Sorry, my cat, Cloud, come here. My cat is confused as to why we have the camera on, but the double knit button band looks gorgeous once it is done, but the process of doing it is so long. I think I worked on it for almost a week, but not very often, like a day, maybe like an hour, a day or two. So I probably could have really finished it within a day if I sat and like concentrated on it. But every time I get so excited because I'm like, oh yeah, it looks really good. And then I do it and I'm like, why? This takes forever, so much longer than a normal like 1x1 rib or even like a 2x2 rib on the neckband, but it's okay. I think it's worth it. It looks so nice and sleek and just very nice. So it's fine. I like it. I think if I will definitely make myself a cardigan, and I will suffer through the double knit band troubles to make it, because I think it fits really lovely on the garment, and I think it is my favorite kind of button band, even though I find it very time consuming and hurts my fingers. But anyway, that is my first finished object of 2025. I finished it yesterday. Like I said, I handed it off to my roommate because my cat decided she wanted to lay on it yesterday, and she is the sweetest thing. I think she just thinks it's very cozy because she really enjoyed this yarn when I was working on it. She constantly would come over and like try to knead on the cardigan. But yeah, so I gave it off yesterday, and I'm surprised she has not come and sought it out and come laid right here next to it because she's that obsessed with it. My next, I guess, work in progress, I don't have another finished object. Well, okay. I have a finished object, but is part of a crochet pattern test. So I will be sharing that probably in the next video, since I'm technically done, but I'm not sure if I should share it yet. I think the deadline for it is January 25th, so I will try to share it in my next podcast, or there'll be a post on Instagram that you can go look. But I'm excited to share that because I really like how it came out, so you will see that probably in the next podcast is my assumption. But for my next project that I'm working on the October sweater by Petite Knit. It is a sweater that I've kind of been looking at for a couple months now. Very just simple. It's a simple raglan. What really drew me to it was the split hem. I don't know what it is about a split hem, but I love it. I don't know, it just is like one of the epitomes of coziness to me to have a split hem in a sweater. I don't know. I've been eyeing it, and so I finally bought the pattern, and the yarn I'm using, I had asked for it for Christmas, and I was hesitantly positive that I was going to get it for Christmas, so I really waited until then to cast it on, even though I've had the pattern for a couple weeks now. I would say I think I bought it around the same time I bought the pattern for the Darling cardigan, so in October maybe, or early November. I cast the cardigan on the week of Thanksgiving, and I had the pattern before that. So I'm going to say probably November. But I was waiting for the yarn because I really had my sights set on this one yarn, and I was very excited to cast it on. And so that is what I did pretty much a couple days after Christmas. Definitely before the New Year, but a couple days after Christmas. So the yarn I'm using for it, I'll show you the actual work in progress, which isn't much, but I'm using Drops Lima. I'm not sure the actual pronunciation. I would say Lima, so I think that's what it is. In the color, I think it's Deep Top. It has the color here, but I think I just looked at it this morning. It is called Deep Taupe. It is kind of this brown. I'm hesitant to even call it brown because I think it's it's a very cool dark tone, like purple, I would say, with like some brown vibes. I don't think it's brown. In the right light, it is brown, but it is very cool and very purpley. And I don't know why I chose this color, to be honest. Technically, it was a backup color for another yarn that I had wanted, because I had chosen a pink color, which I will show in a little bit, and then I was like, well, if they don't have this color, can I have this color? And thankfully, my mom was generous enough to get me both of the colors, so that was really awesome. But when I started working with it, I really loved the yarn. I think the yarn is good. I think the way it works up is really nice. The fabric it creates is great. But the color, I don't know why I chose it, and I'm kind of mad at myself. It's not the worst color. I don't hate it. I don't think it's ugly. I will wear the sweater once I'm done. But I guess in my mind, I was imagining it to be more brown, because I have been craving to make a chocolate brown sweater, like just like chocolate, or like I've seen it be called like teddy bear, or that just like deeper neutral brown color. And so when I got the yarn, it looked like that, like in the dim lighting of like Christmas. But then the more I looked at it, the more I like worked on it in a brighter light and things. I was like, this is definitely way more purple, way more cool tone than I had imagined. And so I looked online and I look at the picture, and it is, I mean, I would say the picture is pretty accurate, because it is kind of purple online and things like that. So I'm not sure why I picked it. But anyway, regardless, I have started working on it. I cast it on, a couple of days after Christmas, but yesterday I just like really started working on it, because I was finishing up the cardigan, and then I was working on my test crochet project. So I really kind of put this on the back burner since it was for myself. But now that I'm done both of those items, I can start my sweater. So I really haven't done much. It is connected to my little yarn thing here, but I will show you. I just connected so for this sweater you work the back first, and then kind of you work it flat, and you kind of work almost like you would work a cardigan, kind of like the beginning front or in back, and then you connect it in front. So I just connected yesterday, like right before I stopped working on it. So I don't really have much progress because again I haven't worked on it much, but this is kind of what it looks like. This is the raglan stitches. So it is a 3-stitch raglan, which I really like. I do like the thicker raglan. I think the thicker raglan and then the thicker ribbing down at the bottom. I think it's a 2x2, but I'll have to double check the pattern. But yeah, I really haven't gotten much progress done on it. Like I said, I just cast on the stitches between the front, and this. But I really like it so far. I think it's gonna be just a really cozy sweater to wear. It has been quite cold here in North Carolina where I live, so I'm excited to hopefully finish this before springtime comes because I would like to wear it. But even then, I think it'll be a fine springtime like transition piece for kind of like the cooler days that are not freezing but are not, super warm either. So that is the October sweater. And then I will move on to my yarn that I got. So I already I got the two drops that I got for Christmas are the Deep Taupe, and then I will have to look at the color for this one, but this is color 3145. This is the pink that I originally wanted to do the October sweater in, and I was so set on it, but I gave my mom a backup color just in case that she couldn't find that color or if it was out of stock or something. So the pink was my original idea because pink is my favorite color and I really enjoy pink sweaters, and I always want more pink sweaters. As you can see, I am wearing a pink sweater today because pink is my favorite color. But so when I saw that I had both the yarns, I was like, awesome. But I also knew that I wanted to do a cabled sweater. Doing cables is kind of like one of my main goals for this year, along with doing some color work. But cables is definitely like next up for me. And I have a cabled sweater that I would like to make that I will talk about in my want to make section. But so I decided to keep the pink because I think the pink will look better as a cabled sweater or cardigan or whichever project I decide to do it, but something cabled, I think the pink would look a lot better in than the brown purpley color, just because that color is quite dark, and while I don't think it would look horrible, I think just the pink would pop more. I think I would get more enjoyment out of looking at the pink in the cabled version of whatever garment I make rather than the brown or purple color. So those are the two yarns that I got for Christmas, and I have not purchased any more yarn yet. I am I'm waiting to go to the yarn store, but I'm kind of trying to finalize some of my upcoming plans just to, make sure I'm not buying willy-nilly, because that's something I also want to be really good at this year. I was pretty good last year at it. I do have quite a decent amount of stash yarn, but most of the stash yarn I have is acrylic yarn and things like that I use for other projects and like more household projects rather than garments. So I've been really trying to be selective with going to the yarn store and waiting until I have a couple projects and then buying that. So with that being said, I will now talk about some of my winter makes that I want to create in the next couple months. I guess winter to me, I know it's technically like the end of December, and I still would consider December, all of December, winter. But I guess in this context, I would say January to April, maybe late March, but these are the projects I'm hoping to do within this time period, but I know I probably won't be able to do it. I'm sorry if you hear my cat. He is playing with his toy over here on the floor. But so my very first one that I want to make is something from the Knitting for Olive book that I also got for Christmas. I have it bookmarked. Let me grab it. It is, and I will kind of pop, I'm going to show you in the book, but I will pop a better picture up on the side. It is called the Darling Wrap. Well, this is what it looks like. So it is kind of an all over rib wrap. There is a sweater version in here, but I wanted to do the wrap. I don't know, something about the sweater version, I didn't exactly like how the body looks, because as far as I understand it, it essentially like is the wrap, but just longer-ish in the same, it has the same ribbing. Let me see if I can find it in here. Yeah, okay, so this one is called the Fennel Sweater. So it's very similar in construction with the ribbing, the all-over ribbing, but I don't know, just something about the low, like, V-neck, and I know that the Darling cardigan also has kind of a low V-neck, but I don't know, something about the wrap aspect just really works for me. But that being said, I would like to do the wrap, but I would like to do it in the color of the Fennel sweater. So, I have to find this sweater again, but whatever color the Fennel sweater is in is just so appealing to me. I think it's like artichoke or something. Let me look. Let me find it in here. Fennel seed. Fennel seed. Okay, so just like this light green, I think would be so pretty, and that's like really what I want to do. So I want to do the Darling wrap in the fennel seed color of the fennel sweater. Yeah. So that is kind of like my next goal, and I think I probably will allow myself to cast it on if I get the yarn beforehand, which I hope I will. I hope to go to the yarn store this week and pick it up if I'm able to find it. If not, I'll have to order it. But I typically try to only work on one project at a time, but I think I'm gonna break my own rule and get the yarn and start working on that if I can. So that's the first thing I want to make. And then the second thing I want to make, let me look at my notes. I have it on my iPad. I don't have a lot. I really cut it down because I was like trying not to be too crazy, because while I think I have gotten faster at knitting, I don't think I am the fastest knitter in the world. So I'm trying to be realistic with myself and almost kind of pick things that I know if I don't finish in the winter, I will be able to finish and still wear for the spring. So my next project I want to do, oh my god, I can't find it. Okay, I found it. Is the Koi cardigan. The Koi cardigan by Toad Knit. It is so pretty. I don't know. I wouldn't exactly call this a winter knit in the sense that it is not like kind of the classic what I would imagine when someone says winter knit, which is like an oversized sweater, a bulky sweater, or like a colorwork cozy sweater. This is, I would say, more on that line of, oh, I'm probably not going to finish this in time for winter, and so I will make it in time for spring, which I guess could be said about the Darling wrap too, because that's not very wintry either, but regardless, that is something I want to make this winter, I should say. So the Darling wrap is like, well, not the, oh my gosh, the Koi cardigan. See, I can't stop thinking about the Darling wrap. Is a cardigan that has these beautiful heart motifs down the front and some other eyelet motifs next to it, kind of like similar to a cable style, except they're like an eyelet motif instead of cables. It does have 2 rows of really small cables in the front and then along the armband my cat is so wild right now, and he's literally been dead asleep all morning, but the second that I decided to start a video, he wants to just be ridiculous next to me. But anyway, I have saved, I think I saved this last year to my Ravelry page, and I literally look at it every time, and I just think it is so pretty, and I'm like, this is the epitome of springtime. Like, I need this in my life, and so I am going to make it this year, hopefully. It is a fingering weight cardigan. There isn't much information. I haven't bought the pattern yet, but there isn't much information about the pattern on the Ravelry page other than kind of the sizes and the needles and this and that. So it doesn't have like the construction, but I can only assume it will be top down, probably with the back started and then connected in the front. So hopefully it won't be too hard. I've done eyelets before and I've done some cables before, so I think this is kind of a good middle point to what I want to do for a cardigan, and I think it just looks so pretty in springtime. I really like the blue that they have in their pictures on Ravelry. I am like really tempted to use the blue, the same color blue or something similar, because I think it just looks so pretty, and my default mind wants to go to pink or white, but I think the blue or even like a really delicate like yellow would look so pretty. So I'll have to shop around and figure out. Since it's fingering weight, there's so many yarns that I could use, so many colors, so I'm not worried about finding yarn. The yarn that they use is the Bio Balance Gods by BC Garn. I don't think I've seen this yarn before, but I think it is available at one of my local yarn shops, which I will be going to hopefully this week. It's a new yarn shop for me, but I see that they have a lot of different yarns that I want to try, so maybe I will pick up something there, because I see on Ravelry that there are plenty of pretty colors, so I think I'll try to get that yarn. If not, again, it's a fingering weight. I could probably find every color in the rainbow in a fingering weight yarn, so that is good for me, but bad because I have so many choices and I'm gonna have decision fatigue over the choices. And then I would say the final one that I'm hesitant to call my winter one, because again, I don't think I'm gonna get it done. I think realistically I will probably get done the October sweater and the fennel, the Darling wrap. I think I will probably get those two done realistically, but the other ones are kind of not winter enough that if I don't finish them, it is okay because it'll be a spring object, if that makes sense. So then the next project I want to do is kind of, I'm gonna call it a spring one, but it's also a winter one. It's an anytime one, but it's a sweater. It is the Moby sweater by Petite Knit. I think this is a really good candidate for my pink drops yarn. I will have to check. I think it is the right size yarn, and I think I will be able to meet gauge with it, but we'll have to check. So this is, I mean, I think if anybody has been knitting for any period of time, they've heard of the Moby sweater, they've seen somebody make the Moby sweater. I think it is a good medium kind of cable pattern for me to try. I would like to give it a go, and I think it's beautiful. I think it is a good winter or spring time garment. I think especially spring, like I can just imagine like in mid-April or early May going out on a walk like at a park or something and wearing that, or going out shopping where again it's not too cold but it's not warm enough to wear like short sleeves or anything. So that is my plan with the Moby sweater. I think it would look so pretty in this pink. And the same thing with this pink, it does have quite a lot of purple in it. It is quite a cool pink, which I don't hate, but I guess like I enjoy more warm pinks or neutral pinks rather than cool pinks, but I still think this would look beautiful in cables. So I think that's my plan. I'm gonna try not to buy too much yarn, so I'll probably need to buy, I think I might need to buy more of that if I do use it with the Moby sweater, but we'll have to see how much I have. I think I have 10 skeins, so we'll have to see. But anyway, my cats are fighting now. My other cat is here. They're fighting each other. But so those are my plans for winter. I know winter/spring, I should say. It's not the most exciting plans on the planet, but I hope to kind of give myself those 3 projects to do, and so if I want to cast on different projects or do different things, I don't feel so upset with myself if I don't like do the ones that I have like ideal for the springtime, if that makes sense. Like, of course I want to do these 3 projects, but I don't want to beat myself up over it. So if I only give myself these few projects instead of having this long laundry list of things that I want to make, I think it'll make my future self feel a little bit better if I do decide to cast on things that were not on my list. Because I have plenty of patterns that I want to make and that I am interested in making over this year. So I think starting slow and starting small is probably what's going to work for me. I am pretty good with sticking to my plans, which is really interesting to me because when I crochet, I find myself bouncing around between different projects like so often. Like, I still have a couple crochet work in progresses that I haven't touched in quite a long time. But I had started them kind of one after the other because I like will start one and then I'll see something else and be like, oh my god, I need to make that. Let me cast that on. I have the yarn. Let's do it. And then I kind of like lose steam and forget, but then I want to do something else. But I feel like with knitting, it's kind of the opposite for me. And I don't know if it's just because I don't have access to as much yarn in my stash that I want to use for knitting, because I have a ton of yarn that I like to use for crochet things in my stash, and I think that's what really makes me bounce around a lot because I already have it and I know that I don't need to go get anything. I can make it work with this and that. Whereas knitting, I really am very conscious about the yarn choices just because I find that I make a lot of like layered pieces with crochet rather than like sweaters or shirts or things like that. So the fabric, while it's still important, it's not like I need to make sure it is good for my skin. I need to make sure it is quality for my skin because I have very sensitive skin. So I think that's one of the main reasons I try to work one at a time with projects. So I don't like go out and go crazy and buy a bunch of yarn at once and then like, I don't know. But so those are my winter plans. Not too much going on with my work in progresses, but again, I just started the October, really just started the October sweater yesterday. I had a few rows done prior to Christmas, but I wanted to focus on my April not my April cardigan, my darling cardigan, and then my test crochet, which will be coming out later this month. But now I'm ready to go for my current want to makes and my current whips. So hopefully next time that I release a podcast, which I'm hoping to have in the next couple weeks, I'll have a lot more progress and maybe a new work in progress if I do go to the yarn chart this week. So thank you so much for watching this. I feel like I rambled on about a lot of nonsense, but it's okay because I really enjoyed talking about my knitting and crafting things, and hopefully we can meet again in the next podcast so we can talk about more stuff. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is sugaryandYarn. I'll pop the thing up here for you because there is a little underscore. I'm not super active on there. I'm trying to get more active as I create more things, but I guess since I like focus on one thing and another, I find myself very boring. I think I'm a very boring creator, because I'm not constantly buying yarn, I'm not constantly casting on things. I'm very boring. But I do try to update there and also share other things that I really like to see and other friends on there that have created things. So I I update occasionally. But if you want to follow me there, that would be awesome. And then I will hopefully see you back in another 2 weeks or so with an updated podcast. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.